What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about a subject that I'm obviously very passionate about. This is an excerpt from a recent live tarot reading that I was doing where somebody asked a question. I don't know what the question was. I don't remember. But I know that it had something to do with love and relationships, hence the context of the response that I gave. And so what this video is about is basically just understanding that when it comes to love and romance, when it comes to the trials that come along, I should say, with love and romance, the losses, the betrayals, the breakups, a divorce, maybe even the death or the loss of a loved one, right? There's so many different ways that we can experience pain in a romantic relationship. And if we're not careful, then we can allow the losses, the pains, and the betrayals of those relationships to become a part of us. And then we can transform and we can become the very things, or we can become like the very types of people that harmed us, right? And that's the temptation, right? Is to fall into self-preservation, to lose hope in love, to believe that maybe we'll never have it again, we'll never find it again, or we'll never have a love like we once had before, or that maybe, we're not good enough for love, maybe we don't deserve love, maybe we don't deserve to be treated fairly, whatever the false or limiting belief is in that regard. And the more that we give in to that negativity, or those false ideas, those false narratives, those false stories in our minds, the more likely we are to start to become people that we never wanted to become. The more that we are likely to betray ourselves, right? So the person who never wanted to be cheated on, they become a cheater. The person who never wanted to be abused at whatever point in their life, they start to abuse others, right? So we have to be careful of how we allow the pain, losses, and betrayals in our life to impact us so that we don't transform and become those very things, and we don't pay that forward in a negative way. Rather, we transform those pains, those losses, and betrayals into our gold and our treasure. So we're going to jump into the video now. I just want to give a quick warning, though. I'm very fired up. I'm very passionate in this conversation, which you guys will see. But it's a very powerful message, I believe, that's important and relevant for our time, for anyone. But if you are sensitive to language, obviously, when I'm doing my tarot reads, if you guys know, for those of you that know, if you've ever come to a free live tarot reading, I'm very real, I'm very open, I'm very honest, and very uncensored. So, but if you're sensitive, I should say, to language or, the use of the F word, then just keep that in mind. You've been warned, but let's get to the video. I'm saying that the lesson that we're meant to learn is not to push love away or to falsely believe that love was the thing that hurt us. Love is not what hurt you. Somebody who did not understand what love is what hurt you. Fear is what hurt you and what hurt them, as a matter of fact. It's not just about us. Hurt people, right? And when we allow that hurt to penetrate us and we identify with it, then we go out and we hurt other people as a result, eventually. Eventually, everybody becomes the thing that they didn't want to happen to them. The person who was abused becomes the abuser. The person who was cheated on becomes the cheater. If something happens to somebody enough times, eventually they start to morph and become that thing. And then they go out and they commit those crimes, those acts against other people. And that's how things get paid forward. Hurt people, keep hurting people, keep hurting people, keep hurting people, keep hurting people. Now, on the flip side, the reverse is true. If you heal, then healed people go out and heal other people. That's the spiritual journey, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here as spiritual beings to go out and heal the world because we have healed ourselves.
And then we pay that forward. I'm a healed person. I'm going to heal you. And you're going to go out and you're going to heal somebody and heal somebody and heal somebody. That's the purpose of how this stuff is supposed to work. So for you, all that to say that the summary for your reading is yes, love is possible for you, but it's in your hands and it's dependent upon your ability to go within and become aware of whatever the patterns, whatever things have happened to you that have made you hurt or afraid to go into this shell and to protect yourself from love. And instead of getting your power back and saying, hey, I don't have to protect myself from love, no matter what happens to me, right? And so in my life, what did that look like for me? Just for an example, quick story, and then we'll move on to the next question. I was married for 11 years. My ex-wife of 11 years left me for my best friend of 17 years. So I lost two people. I lost my ex-wife and I lost my best friend. They both betrayed me. Before that, when I was 16 years old, the very first love of my life, my very first girlfriend, who was the love of my life, we were on our way to church. We got hit by a drunk driver and she died. Her sister died. I ended up on life support. I should be dead. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that somewhere in that whole catastrophe, I probably died for at least some amount of time. So, I don't think that I think that, I was resuscitated or something. I can't prove that. I don't have this was back in 1997. So there's no records or anything that I can go to prove that, but just based on a lot of spiritual work and things that I've done, I think that I died and basically, I came back basically. So my first girlfriend dies. The second love of my life betrays me. The third love of my life, who was the girl that I met after my divorce, she left me. She was a widow. She left me for her dead husband's best friend. So I got betrayed back to back. I've had other betrayals since then. I've had other people lie to me, betray, cheat. I've had many other things. I could stay here all night telling you guys story after story after story, and it's not to toot my own horn. These aren't things that I'm proud of. I'm not here to look at me like, and there's other people who've gone through way more shit than I have, just to be clear. So this isn't me tooting my horn here, but it is me telling you that I've gone through enough losses and betrayals and disappointments when it comes to love and relationships to feed a small fucking village. And it started to affect me in a negative way because I started to become emotionally avoidant. I started to focus more on protecting myself from being hurt and betrayed than on becoming the love that I wanted to receive from other people. And because I was so focused on protecting myself, what was I doing to the people that the universe was bringing into my life to love me? I was hurting them. My self-preservation was hurting them because I was more concerned with protecting me than I was about having the love that I actually truly desired. So I started to become the kind of guy that no woman would want to date. And then I started to recognize that I was becoming that guy and I wasn't proud of it. And so in 2017, I hit a wall. This was long ago. I was not who I am today. Many, many versions of me ago. I hit a wall. I was so fucking lost. I drove 15 hours from Florida all the way to Iowa to a state that I'd never been before, thinking that the reason that I was miserable was geographical. Like, oh, it's because I live in Florida. That's my problem. If I just get out of Florida and I go to some random place I've never been before, I'll meet new people and I'll find somebody and I'll find love and I'll be happy. So I just randomly picked a place on the map that I'd never been to, and it was directly north, 15 hours, and I went to Iowa. Well, I get to Iowa. I find this guy who's renting out rooms, doing month-to-month rentals, and so I get a room. I'm renting a room from him in this house with 5 other people, and I'm sitting in my car one day. This is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, by the way. So I'm in downtown Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in a parking spot, and I'm having a conversation with the universe, God source, the universe, and I get called out. The universe calls me out and says, look, dude, if you're not willing to go through 1,000 deaths, losses, betrayals, and disappointments, you'll never be ready for love. If you're not willing to go through 1,000 deaths, losses, heartbreaks, and betrayals, you'll never be ready for love. Like, I literally got called out on the spot for my bad behavior and the reason that I was basically miserable. It's like, dude, you're misunderstanding the lesson. The lesson isn't to run and go hide from the things that cause you hurt. The lesson is to dig in. The lesson is to build resiliency. The lesson is to become a better version of yourself as a result of them, not a lesser version of yourself. The lesson is for you to find the treasure in the pile of shit that empowers you to become a better person, become a more loving person, to become a more compassionate person, not a more protected person, not a more skeptical person, not a more cynical person, not a more scared person, and certainly not a more powerless person. And so I wish I could say that even though the message was given to me very directly and very blatantly, that I got it, but it didn't. It took me many more fucking years to go through more unnecessary hurt that I caused for myself and hurt that I caused other people that makes me emotional, because there were people that I loved that I hurt that I never intended to hurt, because I just didn't want to get hurt either. Right? I didn't want to get hurt. And I hurt people that I love that I didn't intend to hurt because I didn't want to be hurt. And so just because I got the message didn't mean that I learned the lesson in that moment. I had some more learning and experience to do. But I'll tell you this, when I got it, I fucking got it. And now I have it. And now I'll never give it away. I have it now. I've learned it. I've earned it. I fucking got it. And that's the level of intensity and resiliency and power that I hope that you guys will have when it comes to this for yourselves. Because I know a lot of you guys probably have questions about love. And you can learn from my lessons. You don't have to go through these things and learn the hard way, right? I can share this information with you. You can take my nuggets. You can take my lessons from me and not learn. It's the same concept with a book. You know, what it took someone 10 years, took someone a decade to learn, they put it into a book and you can read it in days. You can turn decades into days by reading a book. Well, it's the same type of thing. You open yourself up to the spiritual lessons that other people have learned who've gone before you in that regard, and apply that to your life. You don't have to go through all those hard lessons yourself. So that's a side message for those of you who need to hear it, but it's also my way of saying that I can relate to the humanity and the difficulty of what it's like to be a person in a very similar reading, because I've once been in that energy of what we just did for Jazzy here. The reading that I just did for Jazzy, I've been in that energy myself. And I know what it's like to be in that energy, and I know what happens when you're in that energy. And it sucks because you're not going to get what you want. And it's very confusing, and it's a very miserable existence because you know you're a good person and you can't understand why no matter what you do, it doesn't work. Nothing works. Nothing turns out for your good. Nothing turns out in your favor. And it all has to do with that concept. You know, if you're not willing to go through the pain, any amount of pain, doesn't matter. I said 1,000. If you're not willing to go 1,000 losses, deception, betrayal, heartaches, if you're not willing to go through 1,000,000, if you're not willing to go through 100 million, the number doesn't matter. The point of the message is if you're not willing to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, because hope costs nothing, giving up costs everything. That's the point. Hope costs nothing, giving up costs everything. When you give up on love, you'll never have love. The minute that you turn that around and within yourself, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I will fucking have love. Come hell or high water. I don't care what I have to go through. I don't care what amount of pain I have to suffer through. I don't care what amount of fear, what mountain I have to climb. I don't care what the cost is. Sometimes you got to dig fucking deep inside of yourself and you have to draw a line in the sand and you have to demand what it is that you want so that the universe knows that you're meant to be taken serious. Because some of you The universe doesn't take you serious because you don't take yourself serious. I'm just being real. And I know I can say that because I'm guilty of it. I've done this. Right? When you demand of the universe something because you demand it of yourself, the universe will take you serious and the universe will give it to you. Like, holy shit. They fucking mean it. And you'll be tested. You'll be tested because you're going to be like, oh, okay, man, wow, this is really, this makes sense. And you're going to go out and you're like, okay, well, I had a positive mindset and I did this and I did that. And then the universe is going to send you a test. They're going to send you another cheater. They're going to send you another disappointment. They're going to send you another one of those people that hurt you. And the universe is going to see if you respond differently. And you're going to have to pass that test and be like, hey, you know what? Bring it the fuck on. Bring on the cheaters, bring on the liars, bring on the betrayers, bring on the narcissists, bring them the fuck on. Let's do it. I want it. Bring it. Bring it on. And when the universe sees that you mean business, because you're demanding of yourself now, the universe isn't going to really send it to you. The universe goes, holy shit, they mean business. They want love. So what are you going to get from the universe? You're going to get the real thing. You're going to get love.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.